about Monopoly. I used to play it. It was the 1920s it came out. Remember? I remember. I remember you could monopolize, buy up railways, buy up everything. But you pass go and go to jail. And with this one, here we go. We monopolize. So who's monopolizing? The things that Canadian government, our businesses need now. Communication networks are amalgamating and teaming up and charging higher prices. I'm serious. Economically, it is taking us down. So I was just looking, I had to go to Virgin. And I did. It was better. A better router and video things, right? But they teamed up with Bell. He comes in, he says, it doesn't matter, it's Bell. And well, Bell was screwing me. And they come up and they said, there's no discounts for seniors. I buy an i13, they don't go on. I was true. I had a 2-year contract with them to pay that iPhone off my iWatch. But they didn't they didn't carry through a care plan. They said you should have got that. Now you tell me. And your care plans are a lot more than they own the phone. And they lock these phones, and you can't get out of them. So what happened was my phone overheated. The iPhones with these new updates are heating up this system. The iPhone is heating up. Like you're saying on here, it was burning screen. No, it didn't burn the screen. It burnt the hard drive out. I had a 256 gig hard drive. I'd like to have more. So here's it. I don't know if these phones are good, but if I had a care plan and I get it from Bell, I get it from Apple, it'd be better. But the prices of Wi-Fi is terrible in Canada, the highest rates in the world, and it's getting higher. Who let that go? Stephen Harper did do something. He broke up the companies. So let's get some positives. He did do that, and he got some more companies. So this one here, it was TELUS. It's a TELUS pay as you go, and I have to go to the store all the time, get a rebate. No. It's just voice and text. I noticed the text I can't use too much. That's all right. I was using it to get messages, but it's a good voice plan, and it's Canada wide, and that's $28 a month. And it just goes out of the bank, and I got that all set up. This plan, at least I got her down to $40. I was about 120 on Bell. 120, I switched over, but it's monopolized. Oh, what am I getting into? It's monopolized, people. And, our Green Party talked about this. Our businesses are going online. And this is an important part of our e-commerce. And we should have some control over monopolies. So my lawyers are going to try to get it off. I'm learning how to keep a lawyer on the back burner. So I signed up for Legal Shield. And am I bitching? Oh, that looks good, Queen. I wouldn't mind King. I signed up for Legal Shield. I'm paying $85 a month, and it's helped me with business. And I can take so many cases, and I'm just putting them on there. And I've lost a lot of stuff because of the justice system is pretty weak, but they're looking at looking at blocks to justice, Supreme Court Justice of Ontario. I've had a lot of blocks to justice. It's the local area. So let's quit talking about politics right now. It's municipal deregulations. Some of these lawyers are on the take for real estate, and they're all related. I hate to say it. They're all friggin' related. So I can't take the case. My dad works there. It's convenient, isn't it? To keep it all in the family. The daughter's a lawyer for the dad. They're all see. They're doing one type of real estate. Sell, sell, sell. Well, I sold that house, and it was worth much. They sold it for $300,000, and then they double flipped it, 500, $600, 1,000, right up. Fixed it up a little bit. My brother wasn't looking after it, and I told him you just need to put get raccoons in the ceiling. He wouldn't do anything. I couldn't talk to him. So he came in. It was an awful mess. They gave us $299. They gave my niece $299. So I got the probate back. That's $160,000, and I didn't get much out of that. She gave it all to her family, and she stole the property. And can I tell you something? It's just bad executor. I should have had her removed. But I had this trauma of what she was doing to me, and I left Ontario. I went all the way out to Vancouver Island. I was out there for a while. And I went back to Alberta. I was up in Calgary, Strathmore, and then to Bonnyville. Nice towns. But I don't want to go back yet until they get rid of that other thing. She's blocking renewable sector just like Doug Ford. Yeah, but they're always demonizing renewable energy. What the hell's that about? Eh? You know, they're having so many jobs out in Edmonton, and the guys are saying, I think this works. Farms need better renewable energy. Put a moratorium on renewables. Daniel Smith. And I talked to a guy on the phone. He came up back to Canada. He thought he could get something going on. Doug put a moratorium on renewables. And all the fiction out there about renewable energy. Yeah, I've known this for years. In Ontario, we got so many rivers, streams, and lakes. With a feasibility study, we could build these offshoots quite easy and have wind, solar. And I want to tell you something else. Quebec came up with battery storage. I was telling them about in BC that. Really? Quebec, deep storage. So who did that? Well, let's get the Jew. He was Jewish. Came in with a battery storage system. Professor of, is it lithium? I don't know. These are deep cell batteries that store the energy, and we can regulate it and sell it. We were selling it to the States. We had so much. It was just going down to the States, and the wind's on. It generates so much energy. If we can store it, we're saving money, and that's what they're doing in Australia. But I think there's a lot of libertarianism there. I think Scott Morrison really did a number. He was trying to sell coal. Remember that? He was selling coal. Here's coal. We got to have coal. Well, what happened there is China looked at that. They're getting on wind turbine, uh, tidal currents and stuff. They're going, uh, and so it's Bay of Fundy there. They could generate a lot of electricity. Battery storage is a good system. And Bay of Fundy only produced so much. We can have a lot of streams of renewables, wind and solar, hydro. Ontario needs all this. Why? Because the grid's so big. Texas got a big grid too. Elon Musk might change it. Yeah, but I mean, the grid's so big, and they say, why is the hydro rate and electricity rates in Texas so high? Multi-grid system. You're pushing a lot of electrons down wires, and you're getting line loss. Figure it out. That's simple electrical knowledge. And the line loss is the non-gridded system. This company left Ontario. They couldn't get anywhere. And it was liberal at the time. What is this? They're a renewable sector coming up with really good solar voltaic cells. So where did they go? They went to Germany. The Green Party of Germany was in there, and they just gridded the system on rooftops. And people were so grateful coming in that country. He was 54 years old. He had no job. I love this job, he said in Germany. He was really happy. It was a factory production of solar voltaic cells. They put on every rooftop. You have it on your roof. Your pitch can be adjusted. Bullfrog was coming up with a good system. Brother, I said, why don't you get this? You get incentives. What do you mean? You're selling back to the grid, right? But they've just demonized all this because they're crooks. The far right and the far left. Doesn't matter. Socialism, capitalism, they're all on the take. If you look at what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, that's over oil. Putin, come on, figure this out. They're being tied to commodity markets. I ain't into this sort of commodity markets. There's no ethics to it. Is it heating up the planet? Well, people are arguing with me. But I think in Australia, I'm not going to be arguing. 'Cause these two boys there, they're entrepreneurs, they're billionaires. They're doing what E.P. Taylor did. He owned the bloody country. They could too. They've been mining resources, and now they're looking at gridding the system, selling hydro to selling electricity to Singapore and Hong Kong. And what happened? Coal? Now I'm arguing with a bunch of Queenslanders, and I'm not going to argue anymore. It's going to happen, and it's just happening on like these billionaires are taking over their philanthropists. I call them. Yeah, philanthropists. They got some good integrity. They're good businessmen. They know gridding the system, and you're going to have a superpower with renewable energy sources, but they're attacking them all the time. Coming up with a green hydrogen combination? Whoa. There's the guy arguing about it. They're always trying to demystify a very damn good solution. So, it's like politicians lie. So does the damn media, and so does some sorts of science that's paid by corporate greed. BlackRock, I don't know. But that'll make Australia maybe a superpower. It's a G7, and they're finding gold. Canada's finding gold, but they're not using the head. Yeah. The first thing is they should be mining that gold, and they are. But who's going to be doing it? I think Alberta's got gold stock traders, gold bull stock, but the prices will be high for a while because supply and demand. But keep your eyes open, and I look at the tiny house solutions, and I tell you what I think. It's getting just like everything else, widgets. The prices of tiny houses are going up. What you're selling here, there's a woman in Queensland got a $40,000 tiny house. $40,000 Australian. It's a lot cheaper. Here, $190,000 for a custom built tiny house. That's a lot of money because we're demanding more. Now, why are we getting into tiny house communities? Well, there's a woman, she called up and she's building them, taking them up in northern Ontario. Why? Because she's worried about the equity in her house. She's a homeowner, and that's true. If they're going to keep on blowing up the market like this. I looked at a bit of land out there in Georgian Bay. It's not much. 6,600,000. It's a little spread. There's some. I looked at this place. How much? That's a shit. Ontario's getting really bad. I was in a shed, a friggin' shed at Wasaga Beach. It was a beach house. So it was a change room and I was sleeping in it. $1,000 a month. And it was just inadequate and cold. Had a couple of heaters in there. There's a bathroom, a shower, but it was hell. I go out and I have to trudge up to my knees to go down to get food. The boss man comes in and he says, I want your money. Well, how can I get it, boss? You could do a wire transfer. I don't do that. But you don't get paid. Well, I'll kick you out. Well, you could do a wire transfer. So he tries it and there, okay. Why didn't you set it up like that? I was getting the money, but I wasn't getting much. $1,000 a month. I was on. I went back to Ontario Works when I came back. I was on an Ontario disability, which was a bit more money, but it was useless. Useless because I could. Jim Wilson wouldn't give me funds to get started in business. Well, he come back with that stupid plan, just like Pierre Paulot, using these taxpayers, saying it'll hurt taxpayers to support small business. The Green Party of Ontario says different. The Green Party says it builds community, and we give T-shirts to sports teams and everything, and we advertise and we start paying taxes. So they're a bunch of rubbish. The progressive conservatives have not got their act together, and they're anti-renewable, anti-environmental change. And listen to what they're talking to you about. Get rid of carbon tax. It's a good ploy. It's a good ploy that you're going to vote for them. Go for it. I'm going to have to lead the country. I don't mind. Because I'm looking at this lawsuit and I see a place up in Queensland. Nice apartment. I'll own it. $235,000. Bought right out. It's mine. Someone pulling the resort, and it's in Port Douglas. But did you see what happened to Port Douglas? Finally, they got through that damn storm. But you talk to a lot of them, they say it's normal weather. Oh, on the beach, mate. Normal weather. That was a class 2 type cyclone. And I prayed and I wanted that area to stay good because they've had a lot of hell there. Culver shut down a lot of good businesses, Port Douglas. Marina there. There's bars, restaurants, and everything shut down. Yeah, it's hard times. It's hard times. The whole Culver thing has been killing us. It's just part of a shift. But haven't we had viruses and everything? Yeah, hell. 1900s, we had the Spanish flu. We got over it. We had polio. One of the worst damn things we ever had. It was on my birthday, my day of birth. It came out in 1955, April 12th. I was born and the polio vaccine was popped out. Joni Mitchell had polio, okay? Was it bad? Our hands couldn't finger the guitar. So she started doing open tunings and it changed her music. But she had a lot of trauma from Vancouver, from Saskatchewan that she doesn't want to talk about. I think it's those damn machines that they put them in, but what could you do? They're iron lungs, and you just look at the ceiling 24 hours a day. You're in this box and it's breathing. Must have been terrifying for a child. But what are you gonna do? She lived through it. Sometimes the medicine's painful, isn't it? But we finally came out with a polio vaccine. And it was just so crippling. Thank God. We always have pandemics. We've had the Spanish flu. We've had the plague in the 17th century or 16th. We've had a lot of viruses. This is common. I think it's just a part of the cycles of change. But we learn, we get through them. Some people die. Well, there's been a lot of people dying in the COVID. And what it is this fear-based reality and not working together. And they finally got the vaccines. I had to walk quite a ways and get on a bus, and I finally got the vaccine. I had to stand outside. Now they got the vaccines, and the next one came. They came up to the apartment and gave me a vaccine. Next one, where was I? I got doctor. I can't remember. Then I got to the hospital yesterday, 2 days ago, 5 days ago. I had the COVID tests and I had examinations. I don't have COVID, but I'm going to get level 4 because these are coming up with variances, and 3 people died in 1 week at that hospital. So the doctor's being honest to me. I wish they quit doing this COVID virus denial. I was not really with it either. I was traumatized by what I was going through. And they were telling me you wear a mask and you get out. And I was fighting them, and I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm sorry. But it was just trauma. I said, put me in a shelter. There was a narcissist in there. So I had the friggin' place closed. How? I reported to the Green Party of Ontario. They went and reported to the Human Rights Commission. They closed them and examined them. They fired her, but they're open again. Oh, this is round 2. You got to open hotels up and places to make people feel safe. But the kids are crazy. They're on drugs. They're throwing things at cars tonight. I was watching this. Do you blame them? No housing, no affordability. But who is responsible? Trudeau? Who is responsible? Us. Allowing these racketeers in this area that's telling me stuff like it's a commodity market. Housing is not a commodity market. As a Canadian veteran, what the hell is he saying? Don't say, read the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Housing is a right. No, it's a commodity market. You got to hit it right at the source, not the politicians. Okay? How are you going to do this? You going to listen to politicians like Pierre Paulette that lies? Everything he says, I wouldn't believe a word he says. And he's using it to get rid of fossil carbon tax. Like there is things that aren't good in this, and they're just ploys. Like I looked at in Australia. Those carbon offsets are deforesting forests to sell trees. That's counterintuitive to renewable sector or anything. It's just garbage. So that's a green scam. So we got to really discern what a green scam is. It's not all green scam, but there is some light green scamming and greenwashing, and that's a green scam. There's another one. It's called these carbon suck it down. It's a stupid excuse. Just quit producing fossil fuels. Why? Have you ever looked at the American automakers? How many bloody electric vehicles they got? Yeah, I go downstairs there. They got 2 charging ports here. I can charge, and that's what my friend says. I wouldn't mind a Tesla. Well, they got Teslas. How do they get them? Wow, divorce women and probably got my alimony. Good girls. I think they're a good car. Well, they demonize them. They demonize uh, Eli Musk. He's got a bunch of scammers that took over his accounts, and they've been scamming money off of people. Like, look at the words and everything, and examine what they say. When you go on YouTube and it doesn't have YouTube Premium, you're going to get these ads, and it'll be the Eli Musk scam. It's easy to see that it's a scam because the words aren't synced. It's Eli Musk telling you all this stuff. He's not into that. See, they scammed that with when he left. And it really makes him look like a piece of garbage, because a bunch of scammers took that. They scammed the federal government. Did you say that? They scammed money out of federal government funds for COVID. They said they put it through the federal revenue department. So I call the federal revenue department to see what I'm getting back. Oh hell, I gotta go through all the security checks. I can set it up at the bank and it'll be better. I got a banking system and I think I'll work with that. It's a tough love world of trying to be an entrepreneur. When you can't get I'm gonna have to use the lawyers. Thank God I use some lawyers to build the business with because I can't get a broker here. Why? She doesn't want to work. I'm gonna report it to the company. She says it's too much work. Well, maybe she go out and be with the homeless kids out there. It might come down to that. Well, it's brutal, Greg. Well, if you don't want to work, somebody else take that job. I don't really care. I needed a quote. You refused the quote because you said it's too much work. Just like that other girl went in. He says, "Where the hell are you?" She said, "A woman's entrepreneur's coaching this young woman to be good." Oh, I'm down getting my nails done on my time. Yeah, I like using time. Good. You got lots of time. I just fired you. You can't fire me. I did. You're free now. You can go and get those nails done, but you won't be getting any money. She disrespected one of the greatest women in an entrepreneurial business. That's stupid. And I'm not saying every girl's stupid, but I'll tell you, she's from India. I had a bunch of men, and I was trying to get these saddles in. The damn tack is good, but she's plummy. She's from Britain. She says it's inferior. Such is life. Like, I look at it and it's the same quality or better than what they're producing at a cheaper price. I'm looking at the economics of this market going up and looking at that I can get these cheaper. And the equestrian riders want them, and they're Western and everything, and race saddles and everything. How much? A lot cheaper. I looked down in Florida, dressage saddle from Europe, $8,000. I said, "Can you do this a cheaper deal?" He says, "I can't do it for nothing. I'm not asking you to do it for nothing. Look at the saddle. That's $8,000 US. Yeah, can you do it cheaper?" Oh, hell yeah. So what am I talking about? And I look at the leather and I send it out to Alberta. I like that because that's Turkish leather. You know, it's good leather. These are good quality saddles. And what happened to India? Well, you got in the microloans, Mahatma Gandhi and all that. And it helped when you left the repressive British Empire at the time. You got into microloans and you started producing good quality saddles and tack. But I'm having problems with this guy. He's Japanese and he's selling saddles in Australia and traveling Japan, but he hates China. China hates Japan because you radiated their water, man. Oh, I hate China. Well, I'm doing trade with China. I'll have to go to Australia and keep that. And she says she'll make money because this company is it planned obsolescence? I look at how they're making these red light therapy units, which is they grow a hair on your head, these damn things. But it'll get horses sound. We got race horses, we got equestrian horses, we got outback horses. We need horses sound. And those damn red light units are give them sound. Yeah, Chris Waller, he'll like it. A lot of these mates will like it. He was asking me. He just won Cox Plate. Good, Mike. Good. How much was that? You had 7 starts. You weren't ranking any money. That warrior, what was his name? Romantic Warrior. You made 7,500,000. This idiot's saying their horses are hay burners. That's a golden goose there. A lot. Ching ching. You know, Australians cry when they win a race and they look at, whoa, look at the money. So I said, these mates are Australian Group 1 class trainers and owners. They're gentlemen. Sheila says they're not all gentlemen. Oxymoron of the Australian gentleman. Gentlemen. Gentlemen's club. He looks like Hitler. He gets up there, he puts the guy, his jockey up in there. He's got a little Hitler mustache. There's a lot of Aussies like that. Cousin's a doctor. He says there's a guy and professor in Melbourne that's we call Hitler. Ah, he's got a little mustache, and I'm laughing. Hitler on there, and he's giving a leg up that jockey, but he's making money, ching ching. Yeah, you can dress up as anybody and be Santa Claus and make money with racehorses. Chris Waller's a great horseman. I don't want to ever hear anybody run down their industry. Australian horse racing is getting pretty good. It's getting transparency in it. Okay, here, let's talk about it. Their transparency. I can go into Australia as a scout and look at horses and buy them. But here I'm getting veterinary reports. I'm getting bone density of those each horse in the yearling sales, and I'm getting a scope, checking the lung capacity and everything. It's a good deal. That's transparency in veterinary science for racehorses. You know, you could say the vegans and the animal rights people did a lot of harm, but I think sometimes it makes the industry stand up and look at it. This is an industry, we got to make money and we got to bring the reputation up. So you get tough laws and the stewards kick out drug dealers in the racing. And it gets better. And then Woodbine's done that too. Ochigo? Who does that? The bosses, the stewards. Well, look at that one. He got out. He's $250,000 fine, but 20-year suspension. The government doesn't regulate it. It's bosses, track bosses, the stewards. Head steward. Listen, if they're not doing it, why do I get a message from Hong Kong? Hong Kong. He's the head steward there. He says, I want to talk to you boys up there in Woodbine. Woodbine? What's going on? Nothing, buddy. So I talked to them and they said, there's something cooking there. Yeah, there's a lot of money going in. So, you know, you got gold and you got the race tracks there. They're starting to come back. In Ontario, Woodbine. We got 40 area. I don't know. We got the Battle of the Great Lakes. Yeah. Lake Erie. Woodbine is a great track. And I said that she was the head of Woodbine Entertainment. It's an entertainment group. Who they had Brad Paisley playing there. That's his best damn thing in Ontario. She says, I tend to agree, sir, because the rest of the province sucks. Oh, hell, it does. It does. It does. Woodbine, you're making some money. Go down there, have a nice meal with your wife, your kids. I don't know what kids. You go to Santa Anita, it's like going to McDonald's. You know, they have a daycare, a place for the kids to play. You take your wife up to Santa Anita, sit there and have a meal and watch the races, put money down, have a nice dinner. Where's your kids? They're in daycare right on the track. It's an industry that's improving. But Santa Anita seems to be a better track than a lot. There's a lot of good horses out in Santa Anita. Canada has a triple crown. Alberta is one part, and then Hastings and Vancouver. But we're racing Woodbine to Santa Anita. He says you could win that, man. I can't get any thoroughbreds. I asked her. I said, "Will you sell me something if I get some money?" Now I got nothing to say. Handsome, handsome. That's all she does to me. An older woman, she's like, call me handsome. I'm getting sick of that, Barb. You could sell me some horses. I'm not dating you. She's about 60 something, handsome. A purebred breeder and owner. And I talked to her. I said, that's, you're down there with the chairman of the board of Canadian Thoroughbred Association. Yeah, and I ain't but bloodline. Well, he's asking me, and he said, I'm interested. So maybe he's learning something. Because I think your ideas are good, sir. Because you called up the Jockeys Club, and they heard you. Where the hell are you getting these things? Well, he's up in Oregon. It's a bush track there. So I go back to him. I said, you're a bush track boy. You tell him I'm Churchill Downs Pro. I just retired up in Oregon. I'm going to Santa Anita every night, every week. He calls him bush track. He got mad as hell. He's top 5% of the old school. Old school. Old school 5%. Bloodstock agent and trainer and owner. And he knows that a great bloodline. He gave me the secret sauce. He says, this secret sauce. Write it down. He uploaded these files. It's on my other cloud system, but I got it memorized. And what bloodline do I pick on? Northern Dancer out here. And I pick on second horse. Was in the swing called where's the Prospector X? Look at him up. He was breeding at a 180. Wasn't a really high. He was in between horse. So he says, get a Hellcat. I'm like, I had a feeling about him. He says, I don't know about Hellcat, Stormcat. He's a great horse, but I started listening to breeders, and they said, he's kneeing out. Well, I said to Jason, I said, what the hell is he kneeing out for? Growth hormones. See, we got to keep all this clean. Clean up the garbage. Growth hormones and steroids. I said, who was on steroids? Didn't you know American Pharoah was? Well, they sold them to Australia. Yeah, they sold them to Australia for 180,000 stud fees. How's that? Would I breed to them? I don't think so. There's another horse, and I looked at that. It's $35,000 that go on. I like them. And Ellen says, I don't know if he's a good stallion to breed to, but he's up in Queensland. Um, but I looked at what his offspring was. 180,000 for 1,400,000 first year. His son of Merchant Navy. It's not anything to slice that. He had a stayer shoulder, and that's what I like. I noticed that. And I keep on wondering if I know anything about bloodline. And I'm learning. When I was in college, I didn't know anything about confirmation. But I was learning it, but I couldn't get my head on it. So I'm walking along like an Asian feather, and there's the old bookstore, and there's everything on confirmation. Pick up that used book for $35. A lot of money to pay for a book. But it's like a gold Bible for a horseman. And I just look at the conformational standards, start writing, drawing up pictures and everything, and getting it in here so I can see it and pop it. So I popped it on that horse there. And it's funny, it's like playing the piano. You don't think about it. You know what key you're starting in. You just start and you know the key because you got it in here and it's automatic. And I wondered, what the hell? I just pick them up. Something I like. What's standing out? Well, he's got a lot of girth. Look at it. You see a stayer shoulder. See, I had to re-look at it. There's something I like about this. Stallion, I just looked at the photograph. And I looked at the bloodline. It has Northern Dancer and Prospector X. And the girth is nice and big. A lot of lung capacity. But Alan says, I don't know. Alan, I don't know. You're a Queensland breeder. He says he's not a good stallion to breed to. He's a stud manager. I don't know. So I've bred a few horses, but I've never really got into stallions. So I say an Australian course online. I'm almost finished it. How to bring mares into gestation. And she says, "Don't get on you." She's a breeder. And she says, "You gotta watch it. That's estrogen. Girls, we don't need more of that." Oh, she's funny, but she's right. I don't need. You gotta watch putting that estrogen in there to bring them into cycle. And I've heard some crazy things from women that they rape horses. Stallions rape. You must have PTSD to tell me that. Stallions do not rape mares. They bite a bit when they're in the breeding sheds. And with the mare's in cycle, and she allows him to mount her, and that's it. But I got into what is the best way to breed a stallion. Mares kick, and they'll kick and injure a stallion in the sheds. I like the breeding method of just letting them out there, and you just romance that mare, and they'll come into their own. And it's a gentler way of breeding. It's natural pasture breeding. Can't watch it. I don't think they want you to watch it. And I'm going to tell you something. I saw two girls breeding stallion down there. And you always see them pull off and get the whole stallion out of there. It was romantic because they let go of the lead shank. And the stallion came up and nurtured the mare. And it was gratitude. And it was beautiful. He had seminated the mare, and they were just nurturing each other like like when a woman and I may make love. She'll lay close to you. She just feels good. You gratitude, you lay close to her. That's sort of nice and romantic and loving. And that's what that mayor and stallion were doing. I didn't see any rape there. Those girls gave them enough lead shank and let them nuzzle and thank each other. So she's bringing 10 months into gestation, and then she'll bring out a foal. There's nothing more beautiful than a foal being born. And I just think we come out at 9 months and we're sort of helpless. A foal will get up in a few minutes. It's beautiful. It's God's lovely gift of watching a foal born. I've seen one. And I cried. I cried. I've never seen something so beautiful. I walked out in the field there, and it was like Jesus being born. It was just so spiritual. All the mares are surrounding here, forming a circle. And there he is, little young colt laying in the field. They're protecting him. There's a herd of harem. And it was beautiful. And they separated and I saw it. I felt love. And he let an idiot come in and beat him to death. I'm sorry, I'm going to start crying, but it really bothered me. And it was just so hiring a guy to save money on uh, visitor's visa, and he didn't know how to rear a horse. He didn't know. He beat him to death with a damn post. You know what I got once? I told somebody that, and why did I let it happen? Because he was threatening to kill me. He says, I'm here on a visa. You report it, I'll murder you. I should have went to the cops. But I was 20 years old. Can you think at that age? No, I don't think so. But that stayed with me. He murdered that horse. He beat it to death. So I said, what the hell is this? He says, you won't go anywhere if you go up to Ottawa and start learning up there. I learned a hell of a lot. Who was running that program? Ian Miller. Big Ben. I don't think I lost anything. It was a very intensive course. It was 2 semesters. It wasn't. It was a certificate course, but it gives me enough that I could go back to the University of Guelph and get in there if I had funds to take the course. I could get funding for it, but I have a hard time getting free of those idiots that are running the show. They say, why do you want to help Canadian veterans? Why not? They're bums. Bums. Yeah, they're always threatening me when I go in the bar. They're threatening you to keep your mouth shut and not bob night, waitress. Or they'll crack you in about 5 seconds. And then they go in a room and get drunk because they don't want to kill you. And they're not bums. They're soldiers with trauma. I'm so fed up with the guy. He's yo-yos. He says I'm a poor boy on Bay Street. How are you? Bay Street, you poor man. I'm just a poor boy. You're supposed to be handing me out trillion funds. Oh, it's there. You look it up. I'm not helping you. I don't want to help them. Damn bums. Bums. Our Canadian Armed Forces are bums. I care about them. Why do you care? Because they served their country. They come back, and when we heal them, they become good men. And they lead companies, and they build empires. I'm tired of listening to that garbage. If you can heal a veteran and get him past all this garbage, he might start a convoy of trucks. I've seen amazing veterans in the United States and Canada with these programs healed and doing business. in leading companies and hiring men. So I'm tired of all this hating our military and American military too. I just, um, why don't we have respect for our military or American military? And I walks in there and she says, "You got a discount, sir. Thank you for your service." So she gets snotty. She says, Why are you privileged?" I'm glad he stood up and he said it in a decent way. "Man, serving my country is a privilege. This is just now." And everybody was looking at her. "Ma'am, you next?" And everybody's ready to throw something at her. He just did the right thing. Serving my country is the privilege. That's the discount. I've heard this garbage. Seniors going across the ferry in Vancouver Island to get half fare. She starts bitching about that. I have to pay full fare. I might be your grandfather, your grandmother. No, it doesn't matter. There's some women there, young women, that are really off their key on this. There's some young women, like this one over here, she comes in and sees her grandmother every day, week. That's a nice young one. That one, I gotta tell you, I don't understand them. I was in Bunkin, and I sat down, and she said, "You can't sit here. I hate men." "Oh, I'm sorry." And I said, "But I got to charge up." She says, "You get out of here." I said, "No." And she started ranting. She's jumping around. "Oh, you bastard." I just, no. Everybody's watching. These two old boys come over. "You're a horseman, man." "Why would I be a horseman?" "Because you just said no." "We should have said that. We know about horses. You're a horseman. Because you do that with a horse." "No, that's enough. I'm not putting up with that." "But you don't have to say anything. I've done that a few times." "No." They start crying. It's so stall-like. It's just stand your ground. You're not being rude. You're not calling her names. Just a go. And what did that get at me? There's a whole pile of Filipino girls in there. And the horseman came over. "We should have done that, buddy. We need to charge up. We'll sit down with me and we'll charge up. There's only one port here." "Yeah, okay, we'll talk about horse." So as she's leaving, the Filipino girls all simultaneously said, "Oh, Tim Hortons, get the hell out of here." Gotta have people standing up for you. So that's just like that vet did. No, I did that with a woman there. She was really yanking the bit out of a horse's mouth because she was ego. And I started realizing there's two types of people that hurt horses. The ones that just look at the dollar signs and think that's all that counts. And then the other type are the ego type that like control and grasping. And I saw them in her. I come back and I said, she says, "You're going to saddle up that horse, give me a leg up because I want to stretch the stirrups." And I was doing it for a bit. But I was hating pulling the bit out of the mouth and seeing blood there because she's just yanking on those rings. So I said, "This is the first time I ever said it." "Yeah." "Well, no." And her girlfriend came down from the arena. "What'd you say to her?" "No." "Is that all?" She's crying her eyes out. "Yeah, she grasped it." A good equestrian learns the reins are very light. Give, give, not her. And she's a young equestrian, junior Olympic yo-yo, ego, that doing the same damn thing. He wanted to date, she wanted to date him because they're both alike. Horse Nazi, the horse Nazi type. And I take the bits out of their mouth, same damn thing. A horse Nazi. So there is horse Nazis, and there's good women too. It's like there's good men, and there's creeps, and there's good women in an equestrian field that treat horses kind. And I'm not going to demonize every woman out there, but there is some that got this narcissistic behavioralism of hurting horses. So please get this understood. I'm not demonizing women. Human characteristics of the ego. It's in men and women. And that's the problem. The other problem is carrying all this energy of anger. If you're getting cut off in traffic, you go into the dressage ring and you are thinking about that guy cutting you off in traffic. So I started learning freedom technique. I'm talking to New Zealand and Australia. We're interested because you're going to teach us emotional balance before we go into the riding arena, the racing, or anything. When you're approaching a horse, you do not have that energy, anger. And it's just a wreck when you get that. And I was thinking, and she showed a video, and the horse is cast. You know what cast is? He gets up against the wall. Well, he's got an anger element, and he's just beating that poor horse to submission. It's cast. You pull it out on the wall, and he'll get up. But he can't think because he's angry. Anger is that's not emotional intelligence. There's three cautious of intelligence: emotion, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. And the emotional is to let go of the anger. I get angry, don't you? But how long are you hold on to it? He's the CEO of a company. I said, you don't do that. Well, it's driving me ahead. It'll drive you to a heart attack, boss. Because I saw a CEO burn out with that. His subordinate, a woman there, she said, I always use anger too. It's all right to feel anger. It teaches you something's up. That's your emotions indicating. But carrying that emotion will lock you into the closed thought form, like trauma does. So we use this tapping and release these anger, and we forgive ourselves. We have to have self-compassion when we're angry because it's a natural response. I get angry. I get angry at the environment and all these climate deniers. I really do. That's me. And I get frustrated. What can I do? Got to release the anger and figure out a way to get around it.